Imagine walking the streets you have known your whole life. Shops, markets, homes, and schools. Everything familiar, comforting, safe. Now imagine those same streets submerged under water, ash, or mud, not from a rare event, but as the relentless new normal. Across the Philippines, cities are perched on fault lines, volcano slopes, floodplains, and low-lying coastal zones. Rising seas, swollen rivers, and sudden storms converge, threatening millions of lives each year. Every city on this list faces a question stark and urgent. When the storm comes, when rivers overflow, when the volcano erupts, will the residents have time to evacuate, or will they be trapped? Today, we count down the top 8 Filipino cities with the most urgent evacuation zones, ranked by risk, population exposure, and immediacy of hazards. From number 8 to number 1, we explore people, geography, and nature's forces, revealing why evacuation isn't a suggestion. It is survival. Number 8, Cabanatuan City, the flooding plains. In the heart of Luzon lies Cabanatuan City, nestled in wide, flat plains that are a blessing for farming, but a curse during heavy rains. Water that falls has nowhere to drain, and streets quickly turn into rivers. Homes become isolated islands as floodwaters rise faster than residents can respond. During monsoon season, drainage systems, outdated and overwhelmed, fail to keep up, cutting off neighborhoods in a matter of hours. Families scramble to designated evacuation centers carrying children, pets, and essential belongings, knowing that a single hour can determine survival. Cabanatuan's threat is not occasional. It is recurring and relentless, a seasonal test of resilience. Residents measure rain like a countdown clock, always aware that their community could be underwater before the day ends. Here, evacuation is a learned instinct. It is not a choice. It is a necessity, etched into the daily lives of the people who call these plains home. Number 7, San Fernando, Pampanga. When rivers overflow. Heading north, San Fernando, Pampanga is hugged by the Pampanga River, a source of life and at times destruction. This river sustains agriculture and communities, yet during typhoons or sustained heavy rains, it refuses to stay within its banks. When the river swells, it spreads across low-lying neighborhoods, inundating homes, blocking roads, and forcing families into evacuation centers that fill rapidly. Residents must act quickly, moving children, elderly, and livestock to safety. The danger is both predictable and alarming. Rain gauges are watched like clocks, sirens signal action, and even routine storms trigger rehearsed evacuation protocols. San Fernando is a city that has learned to live on the edge of its river's fury, where preparedness is survival. Here, floodwaters test both infrastructure and human endurance, and every rainy season is a reminder: lifelines are not optional shelters. Number 6, Tuguegarao City, the cyclone's gateway. At the northern tip of Luzon lies Tuguegarao City, where the mighty Cagayan River stretches across the plains and meets storms from the Pacific. Typhoons here do not merely pass, they strike with intensity, leaving rapid and severe flooding in their wake. Low-lying barangays along the river are the first to face inundation. Streets transform into rushing canals. Homes, schools, and markets can disappear underwater within hours, forcing residents to seek high ground immediately. What makes Tuguegarao particularly perilous is the speed and intensity of storms. Rain escalates rapidly, evacuation centers fill quickly, and families have only moments to move. Children, the elderly, and vulnerable populations depend on timely warnings. This city is a front line for typhoon risk, where every monsoon and storm is a race against rising water, and evacuation becomes a vital, life-saving action. Number 5, Lucena City, trapped between river and sea. Down south, Lucena City faces a rare but deadly challenge. Water approaches from both river and sea simultaneously. Located where rivers meet Tayabas Bay, the city is highly vulnerable to storm surges and inland flooding. When typhoons approach, seawater is pushed into coastal barangays, while heavy rainfall from upstream rivers accelerates flooding into residential and commercial areas. Streets become impassable. neighborhoods isolated, and evacuation zones quickly reach capacity. Large populations living in low-lying areas make the consequences severe. Families must navigate a dual hazard, deciding whether to flee rising rivers or surging seawater, or both. Shelters, routes, and evacuation logistics are tested like never before. Lucena City demonstrates a critical principle. When water attacks from two fronts, evacuation zones are not just life-saving, they are absolutely necessary. Number 4. Batangas City. Further south, this coastal port town faces one of the most complex hazards in the Philippines. It sits under the shadow of Taal Volcano, one of the country's most active volcanoes. Volcanic eruptions can blank the city in ash, disrupting air quality, destroying crops, and triggering lahars, which are fast-moving mud flows along river channels. As if that were not enough, storm surges from the West Philippine Sea can push seawater into coastal barangays, combining with heavy rain to worsen flooding dramatically. Evacuation here is multi-layered. Families may have to leave their homes for ashfall, rising water, or both, sometimes simultaneously. Emergency routes fill with traffic and debris, while temporary shelters become vital havens for survival. In Batangas City, residents have learned that evacuation is not optional or delayed. It is an immediate, life-saving response to overlapping natural forces. At number 3, Legazpi City rests beneath the iconic cone of Mayon Volcano, a natural landmark that commands both awe and fear. When Mayon awakens, ash plumes spread over communities. Lahars race down river channels, and storm surges along Albay Gulf compound the threat. Evacuation zones here are carefully planned to accommodate simultaneous hazards, offering routes to safety before disaster strikes. Schools, churches, and barangay halls transform into shelters. Sirens and warnings are rehearsed with near-military precision. Residents know every uphill route, every escape path, and every shelter by heart. Legazpi is a city where nature strikes from both land and sea, forcing communities to act quickly and decisively. For residents, evacuation is not just a procedure, it is a habitual, life-saving practice. Number 2, Canlaon City, at the foot of a restless volcano. In Negros Oriental, Canlaon City sits at the base of Mount Canlaon, one of the Philippines' most active and unpredictable volcanoes. Here, volcanic unrest escalates suddenly. Ash clouds, pyroclastic flows, and lahars can threaten towns within minutes, leaving no time for hesitation. Evacuation zones are immediate escape points where residents move quickly and efficiently to higher ground. Children, the elderly, and livestock are evacuated simultaneously. Families have memorized routes, packed emergency kits, and rehearsed drills for years. In Canlaon, a moment's delay can mean disaster, and residents live with the constant reminder that their home is perched on an active hazard zone. This city exemplifies extreme volcanic risk, where evacuation is not theoretical. It is a daily readiness mindset. At the top of our countdown is Metro Manila, home to millions and exposed to multiple hazards at once. Low-lying coastal neighborhoods face storm surges from Manila Bay. Subterranean subsidence caused by groundwater extraction accelerates flood risk. Rivers and esteros overflow during monsoon rains. Typhoons bring heavy rain, wind, and further inundation. Evacuation here is a logistical, emotional, and life-saving operation. Millions must move simultaneously. Streets become rivers. Homes can be submerged in hours. Evacuation centers reach capacity fast. Every delay can cost lives. Metro Manila is not just vulnerable, it is at the intersection of several hazards, making evacuation critical, urgent, and complex. Here, preparation isn't optional. It is essential for survival for millions of residents. 8 cities, 8 stories of risk, preparation, and survival. From flat plains to river deltas, from volcano slopes to low-lying coastlines, these cities prove one thing. Evacuation zones are not mere lines on a map. They are lifelines. If this video opened your eyes, if it inspired you to consider your own community's risks, then here is your call to action. Subscribe, share this video, help educate friends, family, and your community. Because natural hazards are real, but preparation, knowledge, and timely evacuation can save lives. The next storm, flood, or eruption is not a question of if, it is a question of when. Stay informed, stay prepared, stay alive.